Hey everyone, it is your girl, Professor Cinephile, and I'm coming to you with a bit of a heavy heart. I'm not going to be reviewing a single film this time, but I'm actually going to be talking a bit and honoring the life of Barry Michael Cooper, who recently passed away this week. I think he was only 66 years old. Barry Michael Cooper is someone who really changed the course of African American popular culture. I don't say that, without I don't say that flippantly, right? And you may not know his name off the top of your head, but when I talk about his work, you'll actually get it. Cooper, he made a series of films that we now look back at as a trilogy, but at the time weren't necessarily thinking about it in that way. Those three films were New Jack City, Sugar Hill, and Above the Rim. New Jack City starred Wesley Snipes, a young Chris Rock, Ice-T, Judd Nelson, Mario Van Peebles, and some other folks. It was a story about a crime syndicate that the Cash Money Brothers, and they took over an apartment building and turned it into basically a production company for a production space for crack cocaine, right? Originally, the film was supposed to be kind of based on the story of Nicky Barnes. Cooper was a writer with the Village Voice, and he wrote so well and really captured kind of this emerging cultural space. And he actually coined the phrase New Jack, right? We would then have a musical genre called New Jack Swing, which was popularized by Teddy Riley, the producer. It was a blend of hip hop and R&B music with a lot of synth in it, right? So if you go back to the late 80s and early 90s, that was the sound of the time, right? So this New Jack Swing came from this idea of this New Jack era came from Cooper. So New Jack City really looked at the crack epidemic from a different perspective, right? A lot of us were experiencing and witnessing the effects in our neighborhoods, but he captured it in this film in such a powerful way. New Jack City remains one of my favorite films of all time. I mean, it's got its issues, right? But it was just so powerful at the time. And one of the few films that actually was exploring the reality of crack addiction, crack production, the destruction of communities and families. So it was really important. Based in New York, based in Harlem, okay? Then you get Sugar Hill. Oh my goodness. Also Wesley Snipes. Realizing that there's that connection there. Another film that is based in Harlem and kind of looking at um, one, the Black bourgeoisie, right? But kind of the darker side of that and kind of the tension between like people trying to live in Harlem and have this kind of upscale life while being surrounded by, the infiltration of drugs and things like that. And how are people making money and surviving in this area called Sugar Hill? Now, Sugar Hill is in northern Harlem, and there's a street up there, an area called Strivers Row, and that was where a lot of the well-to-do Black people would live, particularly during the Renaissance and times after that. And still, if you go up there now, you have more well-to-do people. I think there's more white folks there now, whatever. Um, and then you have Above the Rim, which is featuring Tupac Shakur, one of his most popular films. And it's about, it's centered around basketball and kind of the basketball culture in New York City, kind of the underbelly of it, the dark sides of it. I think Leon is also in that film, if I'm remembering correctly, right? But Barry Michael Cooper's influence just with those three films and kind of like crystallizing this notion of New Jack, like we're entering into this New Jack era in which, there's more edge, there's more grit, where the streets are not just ghettoized, the streets become a site of Black luxury, flourishing, success, even if it relies on illegal means, right? I think that his work is an extension of black exploitation, right? So we had black exploitation in the 70s, really kind of looking at um, kind of dealing with crime stuff, dealing with street stuff, dealing with gangster stuff. But because of the time and the era and things like that, these movies were kind of being churned out. That's where the exploitation point comes in. They were kind of being churned out, pretty rapidly, started becoming repetitive and things like that. He came and made these films that still had a bit of that street edge to it, still had a bit of that appeal to people that were kind of living these lives, but they were deeper and they told more intricate stories and um oh my gosh, like just a really, really, really great storyteller. Um, he also became a producer, and I think that that's a major producer, and I think that's important as well because it's not always about just kind of penning things. It's about being the person who helps to bring these things to life. I know when Spike Lee he rebooted his original film, She's Gotta Have It, as a television show. Cooper was a producer on that. He also was a producer as part of the American Gangster documentary. There's a really great article from The Village Voice from 1988 in which Cooper interviews Teddy Riley, and that's in that article that he names this new genre as New Jack City. I mean, as New Jack Swing. I will link it in the comments so that you can read it. He's a brilliant writer, really captured urban culture, urban um, African American culture. And I just wanted to just make this quick video just to share, my my reverence for him and my appreciation for his contributions to cinema, to African American cinema, um, to African American popular culture. And you can't really hear much music these days that has not been influenced by the New Jack Swing genre. And so, props to Teddy Riley for that. Um, Props to Cooper for giving us the language to understand it. Props to him for giving us the imagery and showing people where Harlem had moved to and what it had become, showing us the nuanced stories of Black life in the inner city. Really appreciate him, and I hope that he rests in peace. Be sure to like this video, subscribe, check me out, check out some of my other videos. And I love this stuff. I really do. And I don't know what I'm going to do when Spike go. Oh no, I don't even want to talk about it. I don't even want to talk about it. Okay, bye.